Hi. So we have to here figure out the smallest integer n such that this whole expression is greater than 0. Now this is a cubic, and to solve cubic there is no particular method. What you have to do is you have to do slight hit and trial, right? So let's try to factorize this first, as in find the critical points of this. The critical points will be when n cube minus 11n square plus 32n minus 28, this becomes equal to 0. So let's solve this, as in find the roots of this. So the way you solve a cubic is basically you first root, there will be 3 roots, right? This is a cubic equation. So the first root you have to find by using hit and trial, and usually the first root is either 0, plus minus 1 or plus minus 2, one of these 5, 6 values. So if you put 0 here, the left hand side is minus 28, which is obviously not 0. So n equals to 0 is not a root. What if you put n equals to 1? So we have 1 cube, minus 11 to 1 square is minus 11, plus 32 into 1 minus 28. Now if you solve this, this is plus 4, 5 minus 6. Again this is not equal to 0. So n equals to 1 is not a root. What if n is equal to minus 1? So minus 1 cube is minus 1. Minus 1 square is 1 into minus 11 is minus 11. This is minus 32 and this is minus 20. All the terms become negative, hence definitely not equal to 0. What if n is equal to 2? If n is 2, 2 cube is 8. Minus 11 into 2 square, 4 into minus 11 is minus 44. Plus 32 into 2 is plus 64. Minus 28. Okay. So here we have 8 minus 28 is minus 20, minus 20 and minus 44 is minus 64, and minus 64 plus 64 is 0. So n equals to 2 is a root of this equation. Fine. Now if n equals to 2 is a root of this equation, let's try to figure out the other 2 roots. Let's say the other 2 roots are alpha and beta, and 2 obviously is a root of this equation. So these are the 3 roots of this equation. Now sum of the roots will be alpha plus beta plus 2, which should be equal to, now if this is a cubic equation, sum of the roots is minus the coefficient of n square, which is minus 11, upon coefficient of n cube, which is plus 1. So sum of the roots is 11. Hence here we have alpha plus beta is 11 minus 2, 9. Now product of the roots will be alpha into beta into 2, which will be equal to, now product of the roots is plus minus plus minus. So minus times the constant term minus 28 divided by coefficient of n cube, which is 1. So product of the 3 roots is 28. So from here we get alpha into beta is 28 by 2, 14. Okay. Now can you think of 2 numbers for which the sum is 9 and the product is 14? Definitely the numbers are 7 and 2 in any order, right? So the 3 roots of this equation are 7, 2 and 2. So basically the one root is repeated, 2 and 2. So the roots are 2, 2, 7. So this whole expression can be written as n minus the first root into n minus the second root into n minus the third root, right? This whole expression can be factorized like this. We have seen this in quadratic equations class, how you can factorize if roots are given, and the value of this expression should be greater than 0. So the critical points here are 2 and 7, or in fact since we have n minus 2 into n minus 2, we have n minus 2 whole square into n minus 7 is greater than 0. Now since this is square, the sign of this term will not affect the sign of the whole thing. If n minus 2 is positive, square will be positive. Even if n minus 2 is negative, square of it will always be positive. So this thing will be greater than 0 when simply n minus 7 is greater than 0. If you remember from inequalities, we can ignore those terms which have a even power. So we just need to simplify that n minus 7 is greater than 0, hence n should be greater than 0. Here n should be greater than 0, and you just need to make sure that you don't have equality. Since there is no equality here, for any value of n greater than 7, it should not be equal to 0, which is fine. If you take n greater than 7, this will be positive and this will be positive. Always it will not become 0. So all values of n greater than 7 are acceptable. But what you need to answer is you need to figure out the smallest integer n. So the smallest integral value greater than 7 will be 8. So the smallest integral value of n based on this condition is 8. Thank you.